Hi guys, welcome to a new video. Grab a drink of your choice. I have water today because it's boiling in this room. And today, also let me know if you like this lighting or if you prefer more light, such as like in the other videos. Today we're going to speak about men that go through false accusations of really big things. And as I always like to speak about my country, today I bring you something that I found out today, and is actually the most famous gymnast in the history of Spain, and his name is Gervasio de Fer. Gervasio has been through loads of personal issues within his life, because after being a gymnast, he fell into the use of substances that are really damaging for his health. You and I know what we're talking about. YouTube doesn't like certain words, so I have to avoid them. He retired in 2011 and he's been struggling loads with the use of substances such as alcohol and so on. He also fell into a very, very bad depression. This is him now, being 45 years old. As you can see, the use of substances and so on, well, has slightly damaged his health, but he came out of it. He's slowly coming out of this dark path that he's been on, and we're very happy to know that, and I'm very happy to know that he's healing. But you know, sometimes life is just about to hit you in the corner when you least expect it. Why? There's been a letter that a woman has written. So a woman has written a letter. There has not been, bear in mind, very important, zero real accusation. She has not gone to the judge to make a real accusation. Zero. Okay? But she's written a letter that some newspaper has published, accusing him of having done certain things to her, or having taking advantage of her when she was a minor. So as I'm saying, when he was getting his life on track finally again, in December he was accused of taking advantage of this woman. But it wasn't a real accusation. She didn't go anywhere. Of course, she gave all kind of cheap excuses of why she couldn't go 20 years ago. This happened 20 years ago. And you, 20 years after, say, oh, he did that to me. Are you nuts? Just in case you doubted it, you are nuts. Because in my opinion, first of all, I personally believe that if there hasn't been a real, or just if there hasn't been a report into where she's going to the police and said, this happened to me 20 years ago, that should not be counted. It just should not be counted. That's my personal opinion. So, even from my point of view, if you go to the police and you're like, hello police, yes, I'd like to make a report, yeah. Oh, this person, this famous gymnast took advantage of me 20 years ago. I believe that complaint, that report should not be allowed, should not be accepted, should not be allowed to be made. But it's not even been made. It has not been made by this woman. She just wrote a letter, convinced some newspaper to publish it, and then that's it. And his name is cursed. And now he's seen as someone really bad. And now he's seen as a criminal. And now he has a gym, and he's lost loads of members because in this gym, most members are women, and they are quitting his gym, and he's losing money just when he was recovering from his personal struggles, from his personal battle. And I just cannot believe that this is allowed and that her name's not shown. If you're a victim, show your name. Say your name out loud if you're a victim. Share your pain. But no, she signed the letter, not even with a name. She signed this letter published on the newspaper with an L. And this is allowed? She didn't make a real report on the police. She didn't do that. And she's been taken seriously? Seriously. Is this how the world works? Because I'm afraid, I'm ashamed that I live in such a world. I'm afraid, and I'm just thinking my future children, if they're boys, are going to be encounter these struggles. Why? And once I'm going to believe that this, even if she did go to the police and said, oh, he did this to me 20 years ago, she will not be accepted. Did he do this to you yesterday? Did he do this to you a week ago, 2 weeks ago, maybe a month ago? Sure. But you cannot come here even a year later or 20 years after. No, because you're just full of poop, okay? You're full of poop and no one believes you. And it's just not allowed just because now you're bored and now you think about, oh, he's famous, maybe I can take something out of him. You're going to take his life away from him. You know what's interesting? That there were men hurt themselves in ways that caused their own lives. Oh, we didn't know he was struggling. Oh, poor him. I can't believe he did that. He did such a thing. But we are seeing what is very, very much probable, likely, a false accusation. And his name is everywhere, as if he was a criminal. I watched a program tonight and I love that he went to the program. I love that he showed his face. I love that he said, I'm not that. I haven't done that. And how can her name be anonymous and my name be everywhere? When there's not even a real accusation. And when this was 20 years ago, he probably doesn't even know who she is. Because 20 years ago, he probably doesn't even remember what he did. Obviously, with someone that wanted to do that with him as well. So, yeah. I'm really happy that he did give this interview. And I love everything he said. He's just someone with a brain, which lacks nowadays. But I just think this should not be allowed. It really should not. In fact, she said, oh, there's more victims. Months went by, no more victims showed up because you're lying. This really pisses me off because I have family, I have a dad, and I, in general, even if I didn't have many in my life that matters to me, I have empathy. I'm a human, I have a heart and I have empathy. And I feel sorry for you guys because I know you struggle with these things. And I know you struggle with false accusations. And I know that it maybe suddenly she regrets it because she feels guilty. Then even day after, she may be like, oh, I may accuse you because I'm not sure if I felt like doing things yesterday. It's a scary world.
Yo no me puedo quedar callado. Yo no soy un violador. Pum. Tú puedes decir que yo tengo mucho carácter o que me he metido de todo y te lo aceptaré. Pero es que una cosa es muy diferente a la otra. Nada de lo que se dice es cierto. Si alguien quiere denunciarme, ahí están los juzgados.
So we just watched a short clip of what he said in this program I watched. Código 10 is how the program is called. And he said exactly, yeah, you could say I've tried substances, you can say certain things, but that's one thing. And saying that I did something to you that you didn't want to happen, that's something else. And he said, if this is true, which is not, go to the jury and make a real report. What still drives me insane is that she's been taken seriously when no real report has been done. Zero. It's just a letter. What the hell? How can... It really triggers me. Second, I still think that if she wanted to do a report, it should not be allowed. That was 20 years ago, she said. What is wrong with you? But even so, taking into account that unfortunately you're allowed to make a report 20 years after and said he did something to you that you didn't want. She's allowed to do that and she doesn't do it. Why? Because it's fake. And the fact that he has to go on TV, which by the way, Gervasio, I'm proud of you. Well done, muy bien, for going and showing, and like showing your face and saying, I didn't do this. This has to stop. She has to stop being anonymous because she's doing actually something illegal, which is accusing me of something false and not even proving it in any way, not even by trying to make a real report. He's still showing his face and he's still saying, I'm innocent, I didn't do this, and I'm going to come here and not hide from the world. And I think that shows bravery. I think that is something to admire, to look up to, and well done for not being scared. Because I know so many men will be scared, and it makes sense. But like, the best thing you can do in these situations when they are accusing you of something you didn't do, I think, is to speak up, is to come out, TV, anything, and just say your side of the story and say this is not true. This has to stop, and get that support from other men. I saw the other men in the program supporting him, and like, most of them were agreeing with what we're saying now. Like, this just has to stop. This cannot be allowed. If she's doing this, she should have also, well, not also, she should just have the punishment of the law as well, the weight of the law as well, and not just be like, oh, I made a false accusation, no real report, just a simple letter, and I go home. No, I could write a letter right now about anybody, and they will take me seriously, and I didn't even go to the police. Make it make sense. It doesn't. So I just really hope that justice is served. I hope that she gets punished, because personally, I know we don't really know the full picture of the truth, but I personally think Gervasio did nothing. All right? I think this person is bored. Maybe she even had something with him that they both wanted. And now, she just had that, like, and she's trying to ruin his life. A life that he struggled so much to build back up. And I think no one should be able to just make such thick, false accusations when they're fake. And I think if that's done, that also needs to be punished. The world needs to be fair for men and for women, but also for men. The balance can't be like this. It can't. It has to be like that. If we want equality, we want equality. Not women up here, men up here. That's not equality either. That sucks. That's unfair. And that doesn't make you cool. This is a balance. Learn the balance. Learn to respect men and appreciate them as well. Learn to support whoever is right. And learn to be a good person. Because this extreme feminism is not making you a good person. It's just making you also a criminal, because you're supporting women that are lying, and you know that. So wake up, open your eyes, and support what's right. I hope this video makes sense. I hope Gervasio has zero problems, because there's not even a real report made. So I think everything's gonna work very well for him. In fact, I think he's gonna be able to make loads of money, because the fact that she didn't even make a real report, I think he's going to actually sue the newspaper that published a simple letter. So I think he's probably going to be able to get loads of money for all this false accusation, and the fact that this letter has been published, and he's losing so much money and income of his gym and all that he's doing on his life. It's affecting him personally, as you can imagine. So I know that he's going to be probably being given some financial compensation, which he actually deserves. So yeah, I hope this made sense. I hope I pronounced properly. I'm quite tired today, and in this room, which is my studio now, is boiling. I live in Spain, in the south. It's like 40 degrees, and I actually do not have air conditioning in this room because it's so loud. Well, the air conditioning wouldn't be loud, but I just can't put that right now here. So if I put the fan, it's so loud. So I'm just suffering. But all for you guys, all for these videos. It just probably looks like I just ran a marathon. But yeah, I wish you the best. I hope you're doing great. I hope you're healthy and safe wherever you are. And I hope to see you very soon. Thank you.